it going? All right. Let's see. Got a pop-up going on. I'm gonna get us adjusted so that we can have an awesome class today. All right. Hey everyone. It's Melissa Thomas from C2C Stamping, and I'm excited you're here. I cannot wait to show you the fun add-on project that my retreat attendees made this weekend. It is a mini album. I'm going to show you that, but I've got my measurements here just so that I don't mess things up. The actual measurements were taken and they had to be adapted a little bit from Helen Griffith. She does travelers journals, and these are fun. And using this on-the-go paper was really fun. So I'm going to show you all that. We're going to take it apart. We're going to make the whole thing top to bottom, and I'm hoping not to take too long to make it happen. But there's a cute little belly band on the outside. I did stamp the date stamp from the Tags to Go stamp set. So this stamp set has a bunch of cute things. Today marks an adventure, you're going places, life's detours are better with you. So these could make cute cards, but also could be cute to add on some of the pages as we're journaling and, you know, making this. The other thing I'm not going to show you much of today is the cute puffy stickers that go with this. It's the on-the-go puffy stickers. Let me get in here just to show you how cute they are, because everybody loves a good puffy sticker, right? You get 2 sheets of the same thing, and they're really nice. Good quality, nice and puffy, nice and sticky, and these will be fun when we're doing some journaling and stuff later. So I am making these for the Girl Scouts who are going on the Switzerland trip, and which means I have to make a lot of them. So I'm gonna pump through, and I'm gonna show you how to make them. The paper we're using is the On the Go Designer Series paper. You might have missed this because it's an online exclusive, but I really like it, especially for this project. I think it's super fun. This would make really cute, like, graduation cards, you know, the places you'll go kind of cards, summer travel. But I think it's perfect if you're scrapbooking, any kind of vacations. So, you know, our paper has 12 sheets, and we're going to use a lot of it today. So this is a fun sheet. It's got some pink that we're going to use. The tags are fun. The dies that come in the that match that stamp set have a bunch of little tag shapes, and they're fun. These are the Geo Pinpoint, and some of them have little hearts in them, keys and waves. There's also this one. So this one has 6 different pieces, and we're going to pick some winners and losers to use, and clearly this was a winner, so we'll talk about that one. And then this one with the large luggage, the back side is like a green print. And then this one that has the really big tags that we can use for some journaling is the one that has the map. So we're going to use this one for the outside. In order to do this, you're going to need a score and embossing. So we need our cut and score board, and we're going to move this over, and I want to make sure I can see us live. So let's make sure. I don't want to hear myself, but I do want to make sure I can see us. Uh-oh, where did that go? Well, that sent me somewhere special. Let's see. Hopefully we're live and you're seeing me live. Let's see. Oh, good. Okay, excellent. All right, so for the measurements, all right, we have the cover is going to be 11 by 8. So I want to cut off a couple pieces that are going to preserve some tag shapes for me. So I'm going to need my arm extended on my cutting board. I'm going to try to move a few other things. And then we want to make sure that if we go to 8, like, you know, how many tags does that preserve? A few. That's actually quite a few. That one's not as many. I think this is the one that preserves the most. Actually, I might do this way. All right, so I'm just trying to preserve a few tags so that I can do some fun journaling. I can cut a few of these out and do a little bit of journaling later. So that'll just be set aside. So 8 by 11. And then we're gonna score. So remember when you're scoring to touch lightly with the scoring because it's DSP. So we're gonna score at 3. And 3.5. And I just kind of run it over there lightly a few times. 7.5. If you do happen to rip, it's okay because we're going to laminate this cover. And 8. So 3, 3.5, 7.5, and 8. All right, so now we've got our cover. And we're just gonna make sure we've got all of our pieces. Everything lines up. So I do like that this one's laminated. Hey, Elena. I do like that this one's laminated because I think for travels and for like journaling and stuff, you would want something that's laminated and kind of will stand up to, you know, the test of time. You can also build it from cardstock and then go back and add panels of designer series paper, but I think that's kind of a pain. I also think that because it's a map and it's laminated, you know, like the old school maps were laminated. Anyways, I think it looks fine. All right, we're gonna need a few other things. So we're gonna cut some side pockets and some back pockets. And those are gonna be from, it's easier for me to find it the other way. We're gonna do one with the pin drops and we're gonna do one with this one. All right, so we're gonna do the pockets and the back construction first and then we'll do the rest. So this is the piece where I said we were gonna pick winners and losers. We're gonna cut it in half at 6 inches just to preserve one side or the other. And I'm gonna pick this one as a winner because I know I want this. I can cut this in half and put it in the pockets. This is definitely the cover, right? Super cute. And then this one I might end up using. I like that there's lines. Anytime there's lines, I'm gonna preserve it because I need lines in order to journal. Like, it's a necessary thing. So in terms of these 3, the one I like the least is probably this one with the little postage on it. So I'm gonna cut it 4, saving these 2. And we're still working with this one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this down, the back pocket, and it's gonna be cut down to 3 7/8, which is, I realize, these are not fun measurements. We're just gonna trim a hair off of that, and then we're gonna trim it to 3. So they're gonna be both 3 by 3 7/8. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to take our circle punch. This is like a 1-inch circle punch. And we're just gonna make a little divot in the top so that we have a way to get to whatever's in this pocket. So these are the pockets on the back. So eventually these guys are gonna go here and here, okay? So that kind of starts to help you see where they're gonna go, all right? So now we're gonna cut the 2 side pockets and they're gonna be cut from the pinpoint paper. So we're gonna cut a 2-inch, 2 strips. So we're gonna cut like a 4-inch piece basically. And we'll use this later for some journaling. And then we're gonna cut it the long way at 7 7/8. So that's a little bit below 8. And we're gonna cut this into 2 of them. So we want 2 pockets, okay? So I will put a link down below to the laminator I got. I did not have a laminator before I started this project. I have enjoyed laminating. The laminator I got came with a corner rounder. It's not the best corner rounder. It's definitely like a 1/4 inch or maybe a 1/8 inch corner rounder. But it's something. It also came with a trimmer, which I kind of poo-pooed, but I actually like using it for my, when it's all laminated, we're going to trim the lamination off, and I don't want to ruin mine. So what I did is I corner rounded the outside 2 corners. So I've got my pinpoints facing the correct direction, and I've corner rounded the outside edges because I'm going to corner round these outside edges too. And make sure to ask me questions if y'all have questions, okay? I'm also going to corner round the little pockets just because I think they look cute, corner rounded. And I don't really mind doing them. So I had a really good corner rounder from Stampin' Up! And it retired, and I'm not really sure why I ever got rid of it, but I did. Every once in a while, my urge to purge backfires on me. All right. So I'm going to cut a few other pieces. We're going to put this together in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and cut my other pieces that I know I need because I want to show you guys what those are. So we're going to have some inserts for the side pockets. So these are kind of fun. These are the pinpoint paper again, but I just used the tag side. So we need 2 of those little side pocket pieces. So the side pocket inserts are 7 by 4 1/4. So I think I can probably start a fresh page for that. Is that true? Just want to make sure I don't mess up my pattern for anything else. Yeah. So I'm going to use a fresh one because I can get both of them out of it. So, all right. So this piece we're going to do, it's 7 by 4 1/4. So 7 by 9. So I'm going to cut off, I'm going to do the 7. And then I'm going to do the 9. Because I like to have the biggest scraps possible, right? At least that's my goal. Because then they're easy to work with, right? So 9, so 4 1/2. So we're going to cut that. And then each of these is scored at 2 1/4. So we'll score this one. Again, don't have to push hard, right? We're just needing a little bit of a score line. 2 1/4. Okay. And then we'll fold them over. Okay. So those are the 2 side pocket inserts. Now the back pocket insert I already talked about, and you saw that. That was this one. So I'm going to get down to this guy. So I'm going to cut 4 here. Now, of course, other things could be inserted in here, but I think this is fun. So these are the little back pocket inserts. Super cute. Cute room for journaling. And the backs are pink. So I'll put those aside. This is my front piece. And if I hold this up, you're going to see pretty quickly that this is way too big. So what I did was I trimmed it down significantly. It ended up being, the measurements are 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So I took off like, you know, I just started kind of whittling my way down, which is generally what I do. And so 3 1/4. I wanted to make sure to preserve the heart, so I'll cut a little bit off the top. And then, what did I say? 4 1/2. 4 1/2. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. And they're all going to be a little different because of, you know, how I cut it, but it's fine. All right. So now the only other thing we need is the pages to go in it. and the belly band. So the belly band itself is a small piece with the tiny tags. And I think that that is this paper here. So that's great. So the belly band is just 11 by 2. So we'll just cut a 2-inch strip. And it's 11, so we'll just cut an inch off the end. And this is one of those videos that you're probably going to need to slow down or rewatch. I had to rewatch the one I watched several times in order to make this all happen. That's okay. All right, and then, and I'll put the measurements down below as well, so just FYI. And then the pages. So the pages are 7 by 7 7/8. And we're going to use a variety of sheets to do this. You'll want the sheets, some of them are directional, so you're going to want to make sure that you've got them moving in the right direction. Will not use that one. So there's definitely an up and a down to the suitcases. And we're also going to use this. So we need 8 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where is my 8th page? Maybe this one is my 8th page. I don't know if it's big enough, but we're gonna find out. Oh, it is. Okay, good. I was like, where is my 8th page? All right, so all of these, if you like the direction they're in, and I think these are fine, then you're going to, you want them to be 7 7/8 high and 7 wide. So we're going to cut at 7 wide first. And yes, I am putting all of my paper in here, which I realize is crazy. But I have had pretty good luck in trimming multiple sheets down, and I just kind of work my way down. I hold everything in place, and it seems to work pretty well. I have a Carl cutter that I can do some major cutting on, but I don't really want to use him right now. Now, I did not get the last page, but it worked pretty well for almost all of them, right? So 7. No, he's not happy. He got eaten a little. That's okay. We'll trim it just a little bit. Let's start down here. There we go. Okay, perfect. All right, and then we're gonna go 7 7/8. So this is gonna be right under 8, and this works if you put the rubber band pieces in the right place. If you come back and they're too tight, top to bottom, you might need to go down to like 7 3/4. So just know that like there might be, you know, you might need to do that. But for now, I'm gonna measure mine at 7 7/8. And I'm gonna get all of these trimmed down. And then they're all gonna be scored at 3 1/2. So 7 7/8. 7 7/8. 7 7/8. So then what we're going to do is we're going to attach the pockets. We're going to go back to the album cover, and we're going to work on that for a little bit. So we're going to attach the pockets, and then we're going to laminate it. We're going to trim it. We're going to laminate it again. And then we're going to take a very small X-Acto knife. And I will put a link to those because people asked me this weekend where I got them from. And we will kind of cut away the pockets. So the pockets are laminated, and so they're sturdy, but we're able still to like get in them. You do have to be careful when you do that. I would not use a regular X-Acto knife for it because I feel like a regular X-Acto knife is gonna be very, very sharp and very, very deep. This is kind of like a micro one, and it literally just cuts the top layer of lamination and gives you access to the pocket. So I'll show you how that looks in a second. Okay, so let's go back to our pieces. I'm gonna move my cutting and scoreboard because I think we're done with that for now, which is good. Okay, so here is our very cute piece, and we've got our side pockets, and then we've got our back pockets. Now, one of the things I learned in my sample was to not put the back pocket too high, because then you can't put this, I had to kind of trim this down. So we're gonna bring it a little bit lower in this model. We're going to, I used tear and tape, which I thought was fine. I have some skinny tear and tape that was left over from like an old kit. And the reason I like the skinny tear and tape is it gives me a little extra wiggle room in the pockets. You could use wet glue if you're very good at it and you're good at putting just a little bit down. But I would not use like a regular tape runner on this because I think that it's too thick. So I want to make sure that I know where my edges are for my back pocket. So it's easier for me to kind of have those up. Oh, well, I just did what someone else did in my class, which is I put the pockets on backwards. So we're just gonna go, we're gonna roll with that. So we're gonna have some fun pockets back there. All right, perfect. I meant to put tape on the other side. No big deal. It smells, I can smell the laminator in my office. It's so funny. All right. So then this one's going to go a lot closer to that one than I did before. Okay. Then we're gonna put the side pockets on, and I'm gonna do these right because I did one upside down when I was building this earlier. So I'm gonna put adhesive on the rounded corners, making sure my geotag is the right side up. Hey, George. You know, I knew that he would get antsy when I made this video, and he wants water in his water bottle. George, hey, I'll get you some. Come here. Come here, buddy. Yeah. I'm gonna get you some. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on, and then I'm going to run it through the laminator. So I'll be gone for a second. But while I'm gone, if you have any questions, let me know. And then I will make sure to put links to the laminator that I got, which was actually, I thought, really a great laminator. It's small, it's portable. It also came with some lamination sheets and the corner rounder and a trimmer that I'll show you in a minute. So I was actually pretty impressed with it. So George, hey. And I'm also gonna get George some water so that he does not continue to disrupt our chi. All right, so we've got it so that there's pockets, and that's okay because it'll all be adhered down. So pockets, pockets, pockets. Okay, so I'm gonna laminate. I bought an extra pack of lamination sheets, and I'll show you. I'll make sure to link to those as well. When you're putting your item in your lamination sheet, you just want to make sure that you've got it, you know, close to the edge. The ones that came with the laminator were a little more generous, top to bottom. They had a little bigger of a trough. And so when you're putting it through the laminator, you just want to make sure it's nice and smooth, and you always put it sealed part first. So I'm going to go put it in the laminator, and I'll be right back. All right, so there we are. It's laminated. So it's still a little warm, but that's okay. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna trim the edges off, and then we're gonna put it back through the lamination machine. We're not adding a sheet. This is the little cutter that they sent me. It's really cute. We're not adding a sheet of lamination or anything. We're just running it back through the machine so we can heat it up one more time. I was pretty, you know, like I didn't cut, you know, I left a little trough for a little line. But I do think this machine, this cutter is actually pretty good with cutting lamination. So we're just trimming our piece down, and then we will go run it through the machine one more time. So George has no filter when it comes to water, so he would just drink water like nonstop. So we have to be kind of careful about how much water we give him. All right, so I'm gonna push it back through the machine. And again, that's just to make sure that, you know, it stays nice and sealed. And then this is the little X-Acto knife pen tool that looks like a pen but isn't. So you have to be very careful if you have it in your office or somewhere. And it is what we're going to use to trim away and make those little pockets. Okay, so some folks put a straight edge here when they're cutting, especially if you have a metal ruler. I used to have a metal ruler, I don't anymore. I was able just to cut it by looking. And you do want to make sure you're using like the blade side of this. So I was able just to kind of look. And I'm going to say that you just want to hear and feel that you're perforating the top layer of plastic. If you go too hard, then you're going to, one, crease the paper behind it. You could even cut the whole thing. So you just want to cut the plastic. Oh, then I kind of went off there a little bit. And I'll try to recover if I can. And I might have to fix that. We'll see. Okay. So then I'm going to kind of crease it a little bit and see, like, did I get it enough? Did I not get it enough? If I didn't get it enough, then I can always come back and I can do another round. And you kind of hear it like snap, crackle, pop as you cut it. If this is too crazy, you could always, you know, put your pouches, you know, put your pockets on later. I just think that it looks really nice when it's laminated and it's all sealed and it feels really, really secure. So then I'm able to take my little piece and I'm able to tuck in my little pocket, okay? So you could put train tickets or any other ticket. I'm not gonna bone fold this. I'm not gonna fold it yet because it's easier to cut these when they're flat than when they're not. I will say that the little rounded piece here is probably the trickiest one out of all of them. And you just kind of have to do it in little doses. I just kind of like went, you know, around and around and around. And again, kind of, you know, tilt it up and see if you can get a nail. You could also use the take a pick tool if you know, wanted to try to pop open something. If you're having a hard time and it doesn't seem to be, you know, popping, you can kind of come back in with your knife. Let's see, I might use my spatula end maybe even, might be. Yes, the spatula end is nice. There we go. There we go. So that's nice. All right, so now we got another pocket. And then we're gonna work on this top pocket. It's definitely easier for me to follow when it was pink on white. Like the white on white is really hard to see. So I would not recommend making this mistake. But that's how you learn, right? You learn from my mistakes. Isn't that the deal? So kind of bend it a little bit and then you should be able to get your pocket open. All right, and then the last one is this pocket. And then we're gonna use a 1/8 hole punch and we're gonna make our cording on the left-hand side. So now I've got pockets, hopefully, for this piece. Let's see. Perfect. And I've got one for this. Perfect. And then one for this. So cute. Okay. So now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to refold my piece because I want to make sure I've got good edges, and I've already creased those pieces, but I want to make sure that they're really good for me. Okay. So now I'm going to hole punch 3 punches here and 3 punches here. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to do 3 holes. I would highly recommend that you start with the middle hole and you make sure that you space them out wide enough that you don't have like a break or like a pull through. So I'm trying to space mine kind of wide because if you do, you've ruined that one and you have to start over with another set. So don't do what I did. That looks pretty good. Okay. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's the other reason why I like the lamination, because I think that it makes it a lot sturdier. We're going to use a length of this elastic cording that is approximately, and I'm going to actually measure it. It's from my shoulder to the tip of my fingers, which I think is going to be probably 3 yards. 1, 2, 3 yards plus probably another 6 inches or so. If you wanted to do 4 yards just to be safe, I think that's fine. If you cut it too short, you can't use it. It doesn't work. So better to be too long and throw a little bit of this away than to be, you know, too short. All right, so here's what you're gonna do. You're going to come through the back on the bottom right, and you're gonna hold just an extra piece of cording here. You're gonna go out the top right, and you're gonna zigzag and work your way over. So then you're gonna come through the middle, top, right there. You're gonna go back out the bottom, middle. So see how we're working our way from right to left. Then you're gonna come back through the bottom left, if you can find the hole. My smart cookie, I can do it. There we go. All right. Then you're gonna go back out the top left. All right, so that's given you 3, but we actually want 4. So because we made 8 pieces and we're gonna put 8. So we're gonna come back through the middle. And we're gonna come back through the middle on the bottom. Maybe. We're gonna make sure that all of these are nice and tight. Okay. And then we're gonna tie a double knot. This is extra cording, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. So a nice double knot. And just know that if you want to add more pages, you could add white or blank. You could do, you know, if you wanted to add strawberry slush or any of the other coordinating colors in here, you could do that. I don't know where my snips are, so I'm just going to use some random scissors I have. Okay. And there we go. So now we've got our insert pages that we're going to grab, and we're going to kind of decide what order do we want them in, how do we want to arrange them, you know, and so we're just going to kind of play. I'll use some to go back to front, some to go front to back, you know, and we'll kind of see what we think. All right, so I think I'm gonna do, I want like a, I think I want this as my outside piece, and then I think I'll do, except I want it right side up. Okay, so these are gonna be my first 2. So I'm gonna take this flap, or this string, the first string, and I'm gonna put my first, I'm gonna put my first set through. And then my second set, I'm gonna do, oh, I do like this, the tags, the little baby tags. Oh, maybe I don't have that. Okay, so maybe I'm missing a piece. I might be missing a piece somewhere. Okay. I'm gonna end with suitcases. You don't want to put the 2 pieces together that have like the same, you know, the same pattern. So you kind of want to, you know, go opposite. So I don't want like green on green, right? I would want like a little bit of contrast, maybe a full green spread. Does that make sense? So that'll be the last. I'm definitely missing a piece. Maybe I didn't trim that. Okay. And then I think I'm gonna put this on the inside of this one, and I'll do some pink. And then I've got one more that I need to cut and put in here with this one. But this gives you an idea of how I would arrange this, right? And hopefully how you assemble the whole thing. So I'm gonna put one more piece in there when I get it cut, but then I can close this, right? So now I'm gonna put my belly band on the outside, and I do have scoring for it. You can score it at the same kind of locations, or you could just kind of wrap it and hold it, but I'll score it and show you. So I scored it at 3 and 3.5 and 7.5 and 8. Okay. And we don't want it too tight because we want this, it's probably going to bulge. We're going to put photos and things in it too. I do want the fun suitcase pictures to be on the outside. I gotta wrap it around, and I'll make sure that it feels there. I think that's right. Yeah. All right. So then I'm going to use probably tear and tape, and I'm going to kind of hold it to make sure that I only put on enough adhesive to seal this in. And I'm going to use my bigger tear and tape because it's stickier. Got a little bit left, I think, on this roll. Yeah, maybe not. So one of the reasons I like tear and tape is it's very, very good for like 3D projects, and it's a very strong adhesive. It also is easy to use, especially if you're trying to hold something down like a 3D project. You don't need scissors or anything else. You can just lay it down and tear it. And then when we peel it, we just peel it from the side, so we don't peel the whole strip back up, right? If we peel from the end, then the whole strip is going to come up. All right, so I'm going to put this back on, and I'm going to kind of hold it here. Okay, so that's good. So it's not super tight. I can get it on and off, you know. And then I'm going to cover that with our piece here so we don't see that little seam. So we're just going to cover that seam, and I might use wet glue for this. So I'm going to use wet glue, and I'm just going to put some glue on here. And we're going to lay that down. There we go. All right. So there's our belly band, and I'm probably going to take it off and let it kind of dry off, and I'll make sure it's well adhered. But there we go. All right. So now you know how to make a traveler's journal, and I love that it uses all of our current Stampin' Up! Products. I'll put links to the non-Stampin' Up! Stuff down below, so if you're curious, and please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I do have some packs of this paper, and I do have some more of these and some of the cording. So if you're like, I just want to make one, I don't want to buy, you know, a whole bunch of things, I'm happy to make you a little package and make a class to go. So let me know if you're interested. And thanks so much for everything. Thanks for tuning in and for being patient, and I'll see you guys later. All right, bye y'all. See ya.